clap, everyone else claps, and then everyone stops. This is gonna be great. Okay, so welcome everyone to Gen Chem 1, Pass Assignment 1. What's your question?
What's a bee?
A bee?
Yeah.
It is a flying insect that pollinates all of our flowers and everything around. It allows for everything, pretty much a transfer of pollen allows for plants to reproduce, which is important because if the plants didn't reproduce, we would have no plants. And then everything would die, and that's not very good. Yes. So, these are the effects of neonicotinoid insecticides on these wonderful creatures that help procreate plants. So you're probably wondering, what is a neonicotinoid insecticide? They were developed in the 1990s as a synthetic form of nicotine, which is actually a natural insecticide. The most common form is imidacloprid. I'm going to be mispronouncing that a lot. And it is used in products such as cotton, rice, cereals, peanuts, potatoes, vegetables, and palm fruits and pecans. So it's in a lot of stuff that we eat every day, which is a problem. So you're probably wondering, how do these neonicotinoids even get to the bees? Well, since it is an insecticide, it can be applied in two ways, which is a foliar spray, where they simply just have all the plants all out and stuff while they're growing, and they spray them all with this insecticide, or something called seed coating. Seed coating is when the seeds are put into a giant barrel, and they are mixed in with these neonicotinoids and other chemicals, so that as they grow, the chemical is already inside of the plant as it's growing, and it will spread throughout the plant as it grows, which then also spreads into the pollen. You see, it goes to the vascular systems, gets into the pollen, gets to the bees. What's your question?
Does this happen like specifically in like monocrops, or is this like in like naturally occurring vegetables too?
What do you mean by like naturally occurring vegetables? Like, because if it's grown on a farm, then it's not naturally occurring.
Yeah, I mean outside of a farm. Like if you found like a sweet potato, like not on a farm, would it also have nicotinoid in it?
No, unless someone sprayed it or the seed was coated, then you're not going to find it. So, this is a really great diagram that I found on how these pesticides get in. So you can either get in through the seeds, the soil which is sprayed, or surface water through runoff from the soil. All of these lead into the plants. The abraded dust from the seeds gets into a foraging worker bee, which then brings it back to the hive, which is a problem because it's not like it just attacks one bee and that bee will die before it gets to it. This could lead to entire colony collapse of a whole family hive of bees. Then it can spread to the royal jelly, which gets to the queen, and then from the queen, that gets into all the newborn baby bees and everything, their food, their wax, their brood, and then it absolutely destroys the entire colony. So, with this widespread problem, how does it even affect bees? The problem with this is that imidacloprid attacks the nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, which I'm going to say NACRHRS, which is a cis-loop ligand-gated ion channel, which is pretty much ligand-gated ion channels. A chemical has to come in and open it to allow for certain other substances to get in, such as sodium, calcium, and cadmium, I believe that is, yeah. So, these neonicotinoids block these receptors, which prevents these useful chemicals from getting into the bee's systems, which keeps them alive, causing paralysis and death. No. Which is a big issue for colonies, especially since this spreads so far and wide. It can also get into their gut microbiota, which is like their gut bacteria, but it can also affect that and kill them. It can also lead them to get more pathogens such as N. serame and nosema. And it also affects their learning behavior and memory since it is a neurotoxin. And you all know how bees dance to communicate and can send pheromones and stuff. If it can get into like the muscle centers of the brain, then they can't really dance as well. Because if you can't move your little bee arm and you can't move your little bee butt, then how are you going to talk to your little bee buddies? But it's not just the movement centers that are affected; it's the entire brain. There's a whole issue, which is probably the leading cause of death. Here are my citations, wonderful sources. Hope you're all paying attention because we got a pop quiz. Pop quiz, everybody. All right. Everybody hands on the table. 2 hands on the table. Everybody hands on the table.
Is it open
After you
now?
finish your notes.
Is it open now?
It is open now.
Okay.
Alright. So everyone's hands on the table. The way this is going to work is that when I say a question, there's going to be 5 questions. I'm going to say a question out loud. Whoever raises their hand first, I will call on them and they will be able to answer the question. That's why I have all your hands on the table so everyone has an equal starting space. Ready? Neonicotinoids are a N blank. Jayla.
Neurotoxin.
Correct. Give yourself a point.
Yeah, Shayla. You have me too.
Is that nicotine?
Neonicotinoids are put into seeds in what 2 ways? Dan.
They're put in through a big vat of seeds.
What's it called?
Seeding.
Alright. Shayla,
Shayla.
go again.
Seed coating and spray.
Foliar spray.
Oh,
Foliar
so
spray.
foliar spray. But
Alright.
not when they're flowering.
We each get a point.
Yeah, 2, you each get a point. Neonicotinoids are put into seed. Oh, wait, I read that backwards. What kind of receptor do neonicotinoids attack?
All of them.
Oh, yeah.
Shayla got her hand up first.
Nervous system. Nerve.
Dan.
Looks like Cyclops, but I know it's not. I have it written down. Liginated ion channel.
Does anyone have a better answer?
Ionic chain?
Did you say bionic chain?
Ionic chain.
No.
There's cell membrane, and it allows things to go in, like cadmium and ketamine and stuff.
And calcium.
No.
What letter does it start with?
I'll give you the
Neuroreceptors?
you're getting closer there. It is
Membrane.
Dancing
it's all kind of receptors. It is what's it called? It's ACH.
Oh.
Oh!
Come on.
NASH. NACHS?
CH something RS.
NACHRS. That's the full thing.
All right, I'll give a split point between Phoebe and Dan.
Yeah. 1.5.
The correct answer was it is nicotinic acetylcholine receptors.
Oh.
No.
No, I know.
What is the most common neonicotinoid? Christiana, hand up first. Incorrect. Let's talk about the kind.
Vegetables?
That is not a kind of neonicotinoid.
It starts with an I, right? It looks like an ICH kind of thing. I saw the word and I was like, what the hell? But I ignored it.
Is it the imidacloprid?
Yes, it matters.
Yeah, Christiana!
Alright.
All right, and the final question. How does this relate to general chemistry?
Molecules.
Phoebe?
Oh, no, Sebastian, you're expanding that.
Oh, no, you go.
Yeah, you raise your hand. You
I was gonna say because this chemistry thing is for your larger major of neuroscience, and this made me think of this is like the chemical situation that's happening in the brain because of these nasty chemicals on the bees, like tracking sort of the chemical reactions of the nasty stuff in the good bee brain and how that is happening.
Correct.
Yeah! Yeah!
Yes, these chemicals are extremely important to study because their chemical properties are what affect these, is what can affect larger insects around us. And we need to really focus on the chemicals that we put into the environment and how they lead to environmental factors such as murdering bee colonies. And that is very important. And, oh, sorry, I lied. Do neonicotinoids don't always ever go away. My bad, I did not mention this.
False.
I think that they don't. I think that they stay forever.
All right, Dan's raising his hand. False. So,
True or false?
No.
they do not. Yes, that is true. They never go away. Once they are in the plant, they are in the plant, and they will spread to the seeds.
No, that's no, I don't want
So
that.
it is. Yes, it is. These are really bad chemicals.
Yes,
All right.
Professor Arnold.
All right. So who had 3 points? Does anyone
I
have 3
didn't.
points?
I have a question.
You have a question. What's up?
What do they do inside of our bodies?
Inside of our bodies, I believe that they do not do anything,
Okay.
which is why they're approved by the FDA to be used as a insecticide. If they harmed us, then that would be another issue.
They also allow cocaine and Coca-Cola though. Pretty sure that's
In the 50s, yes, but this is these were allowed as early as the 1990s. So
Okay.
there is no cocaine in these the addictions.
I don't know if this, how relevant this is, or if you know the answer, but I was just listening to a podcast about tobacco, and it was talking about how, like, if you eat tobacco, it's like super toxic, really bad for you. But this type of nicotine isn't. What's up with
I
that?
don't think nicotine itself is bad for you. It's just like tobacco itself. Yeah. Like nicotine is addictive, but it's not like in itself like toxic. But it's like when you're smoking a cigarette, it's all the other shit that's in there.
It might be like if you eat it, it might be like a different kind of chemical from the plant that might harm you.
Yeah.
Excellent, that's good.
Do we know why it was used ceremonially by the Native Americans? You know?
Well, I don't.
Okay, before we get off topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Video. Thank you all for coming and attending my lecture.
We loved it. It was so good. I